Old friends are like old memories. They always remind you of your past, and we are reminding ourselves of the past episodes from this week of Good Company for the best of Good Company with me, Hollie Taylor. I'm Hollie Taylor, and my kids say this all the time, and I hear them talking about this on YouTube videos, and honestly, it's a term that I think is overdone. It's this. Oh, that's satisfying. But it's in relation to like coloring something and using a felt that's just like the perfect amount of ink to the paper, and they're swiping it on the paper and filling in something and like, oh, that's so satisfying, I guess. Okay, producer Mike, help me out here. Is it AMDR, the audio?
ASMR,
yes,
I think it is.
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
ASMR, where they do things like...
Yeah, and people spend like 10 hours listening to that while they go to sleep. I don't get it.
Yeah. I found one where it's you play music on your phone, and it's bilateral music. So that means that the music comes in from your right speaker, then your left speaker, and then you can hear the sound go from ear to ear. And so if you're feeling stressed or anxious, it's supposed to be something that helps you calm down.
Okay.
Where it like links your two brain halves together, because you're like left ear music, right ear music, oh, both ear music. Anyway, apparently that's so satisfying. I love kids. Honestly, it's so funny just seeing the things that they are into right now. But it got me thinking about like, what's satisfying? If I'm taking these, what are they, alpha gen terms and trying to figure out what they mean, you know, making sure we understand the grandkids a little bit better. What's so satisfying? And I would say a good cup of tea. That's so satisfying. Oh, when I baked the pie for Thanksgiving and seeing all of the lines of the basket weave work together for the apple pie. Yeah, that was so satisfying. So what in your life right now is satisfying? 905-338-1250. You're listening to Good Company here on Joy Radio, wherever you are, and we are talking about the things that are so satisfying. As I heard about 5 times every minute referenced during some YouTube video my kids are watching about how to make slime. Ooh, that's satisfying. Feel how smooth that is. Ooh, look at the sparkles. Satisfying. So we're talking about the things that we find satisfying in our day and age. Text in 905-338-1250. Yes, I can relate to this. Tina says, finishing cleaning the kitchen. No dishes on the counter. Satisfying. Yes, very satisfying. I feel like I need some snaps in there or something. Producer Mike, anything satisfying?
Oh, I was just thinking about the weather the last couple of days. You know, it's been kind of crisp and cool outside.
Oh, satisfying.
How about a bowl of soup?
Yes.
Right? I
Satisfying,
get what the kids
especially
are talking about.
this time of year. It's like those simple pleasures, the things that can just spark a little joy in your day. I mean, this is my Zennial take on it. I'm that tween generation between Gen X and millennials. We got a millennial here. Are you an older millennial?
I don't know. I was born in 92. I think I'm in the middle.
You're a mid-millennial.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're stealing a term from the Alpha Gen Alpha, whatever they're called.
I think that's it.
My kids, your grandkids, maybe nieces and nephews. As they say, that's satisfying. I'm going to say, I love this one because it would be satisfying. We have Lisa saying that she's made Jell-O with her grandkids. LOL. They said that was satisfying, and that was about taking the Jell-O out of the pan. See, it's a texture thing. Satisfying. So Lisa, I'm so glad that you heard this. See, I'm not making it up, and that for me is satisfying. I'm Hollie Taylor, and I saw a video. It would have been a reel, I guess, on Instagram talking about fire blankets, something to be able to throw over a fire, and it will kill the fire. So if you've got a barbecue, it's a good thing to have around just in case something happens as you're doing some barbecuing and on your kitchen stove. And you just never know when you'll need such a fire blanket. And this whole week is actually a week focusing in on fire prevention. And so there's a lot of different things that we can do to protect our homes from fires. So yes, never leaving the kitchen when you're cooking. You don't want to leave that unattended just in case. Making sure that you are blowing out all the candles, not leaving them lit unattended in a room. I actually had a coworker, this poor cat, walked past a candle, lit his tail on fire. So making sure that we're there in those spaces where lit candles are, not just for our home safety and our safety, but yes, our furry four-legged friends' safety as well. Using those smaller appliances like space heating devices, making sure that they're certified by a recognized testing agency and not leaving them close to things that could start on fire, and just making sure when you leave the room, you turn them off. So a few things to keep in mind, even down to lithium batteries. Apparently, you need to unplug your lithium battery devices. So this is your phones, your e-bikes, power tools. So once they're charged, unplug them. And I just learned something new. I was this many days old that your lithium batteries, do not use them if you notice any odor, noise. So they make noise. What? Leaking or changing of color or shape. And that could actually start a fire if you use them. And a lot of people believe you can just throw water on it. If they do ignite, don't do it. Cool the battery down using a fire extinguisher, yes. And then maybe even those blankets. So I don't know. There you go, guys, as we try to keep our friends and family safe heading into the different holidays this season. There's a lot of extra fires that happen. So there you go. That's your little PSA for today. An interesting thing occurred. My husband bought a scale. Now, I guess that's not super interesting, but I don't usually step on the scale, and I did. And I just realized that, I guess in these days, there's more of me to love. Oh my goodness. But in my defense, I haven't played on a soccer team since my daughter was 1. That's been 7 years since I've been fully active and involved in sports. And I really do miss it, as there's just something about getting together with people and working out, having a common goal to win the game, or at least, the older you get, not to get injured. But now my, abilities and preferences have changed. And so the idea of being active has shifted from going for a jog, going for a walk, which apparently is still as good for your heart and better for your knees. And so in my case, where I'm at, that's an important part. So I'd love to know some of those now unique ways that you've adapted your old workouts to your new kind of lifestyle. As we get older, we just can't attack it in the same kind of way. I remember working out for an hour, just sweating up a storm. And now, that's me after 10 minutes. So activity has changed. And the beautiful thing is, in this day and age, there are so many ways to get involved and to do something good for your overall health. So what are you doing? 905-338-1250. Yes, I am a walker. I like Tabata and stationary bike. But only for increments of 30 minutes. Then I'm good. I'm ready for a snack. Technology has advanced so incredibly quickly. It's hard to keep up. Now there's AI, and I'm still trying to figure out apps. Let's be honest. There's some things I'm just not fully understanding. And I also don't feel like I have the discipline yet over some of these new technologies. It's easy to get sucked in, like your nighttime scrolling, and you're just, oh, that's funny. Oh, look at this. Oh, I should send this to insert friend name here. And yet, we should probably be going to sleep, right? So there's lots of verses that encourage us, not so much on the tech side, but just in general, setting those healthy boundaries and helping us to develop discernment when we use things, and in this case, technology. So being safe, choosing to use safe tech, making sure people are ready and asking those questions, is my kid, grandkid, am I ready for this? And is it good? What is the fruit that comes from using this particular item, this tech, this thing? And also, does it meet your family's expectations? So what are the goals that you have as a family? And does this fit? Does it help? Does it benefit? Because even, good tech can bring out some bad fruit. It just depends on also how you're using it. So I'm kind of curious to know if you have a favorite app or a way that you approach setting guidelines for things in your life. I know growing up, we had rules. You go to bed, you read your Bible, do some journaling, and then pray. And that was the routine that we developed. And so I think consistency, which is hard to do, is one of those things for me that helps create those healthy personal boundaries. But for you, what are some of the things that you have been able to use skill-wise or just creating those good habits to create good discernment? Text in 905-338-1250. I'm Hollie Taylor, and I get into my driveway, and I always do this thing where I pause, and then I quickly finish up an email, or I'm going to lie, I scroll a little, or finish up a phone call, just to have some air before I go into the chaos of my house with my family, because my kids are young. There's a lot of energy there. And so there I am in my driveway, and I see my husband and my youngest run out of the house. And I'm like, what's going on? They've come out to greet me. No, I guess a rather large fox had walked right by my vehicle, and I didn't even notice, which I was actually quite disappointed about. But they're around. I'm sure I'll see that guy again at some point. But I do love watching wildlife, and so it's cool to be in areas where we can see the coyotes and the foxes, at least from a safe distance. Also, all the incredible birds. I mean, the birds on the phone wires, I don't know if you've seen them in certain areas. There's so many of them as they're all starting to cluster together and hunker down for the winter. But coming in the spring, we'll get to see a lot of little baby birds. And so one of the new things that people are starting to get for Christmas, this is on a lot of people's Christmas wish list, is solar-powered bird feeders. And the solar power is because it is feeding a camera. So you can watch the birds eat. And I'm sure that there's birdhouses where you can do this as well. I've seen some people live streaming different birdhouses so you can watch them lay their eggs and the little baby birds hatch. It's quite fascinating. Also a bit of a time dominator because you're just sitting there and it's really peaceful. So maybe that could be a good idea this Christmas for someone who loves birds and is looking for a new feeder.